the world holding its breath, the moment Simon Cowell's infamous shades slipped off to reveal something entirely unexpected. A flicker of vulnerability that none of his fans had ever seen. You won't believe how the story really began. It was the summer of 2006, the Hamptons alive with sun-drenched glamour and whispered gossip. Simon, fresh from conquering the airwaves on American Idol, already had a reputation for delivering brutal truths with a smirk. But behind the glittering parties and red carpet flashes, something extraordinary was stirring. At a private soiree, he locked eyes with Lauren Silverman, not as a judge sizing up a contestant, but as a man meeting someone who would change his life forever. They exchanged polite pleasantries, but hidden underneath was a current too strong to ignore. What if I told you that their next encounters weren't mere coincidences? Over the ensuing years, their paths crossed at candlelit dinners, charity galas, and discreet Caribbean escapes. These were gatherings where society's elite sipped champagne and traded insider secrets, yet every time Lauren laughed at one of Simon's razor-sharp quips, the air between them crackled. You might assume this was just another high society flirtation, but it was far more. Lauren, then still married to Manhattan real estate magnate Andrew Silverman, moved in the same circles as Simon, trusted allies in a world of carefully curated images. To outsiders, it looked like friendly banter. To them, it was the start of something irrevocable. By 2009, observers began to notice subtle shifts. Simon's trademark sarcasm softened in Lauren's presence, his laughter more genuine, his gaze lingering a touch longer. Friends marveled at how his wardrobe acquired just a hint of Lauren's classic elegance, how his calendar prioritized social engagements with her circle. It was as if the notoriously commitment-phobic mogul was being drawn into an orbit he never planned to enter. You might wonder, how did he go from dismissing fatherhood as an inconvenience to fully embracing this unconventional romance? The answer lies in those stolen moments, a shared glance at a party, a whispered joke, while the paparazzi's lenses swirled like bees. And then came the seismic shock everyone had feared. July 2013. You'll never see what follows coming. The tabloids exploded when Lauren announced she was expecting Simon's child. The revelation struck the entertainment world like a thunderclap. A respected real estate titan's wife, carrying the DNA of television's most feared critic. The timing was nothing short of scandalous. Andrew Silverman's swift divorce filing, naming Simon as co-respondent, played out like a courtroom drama on every news network. Headlines screamed betrayal, calling Simon a homewrecker, while Lauren transformed overnight from social specter to the industry's newest enigma. In the glare of relentless cameras, Simon, ever the iconoclast, kept his calm. Those dark sunglasses concealed more than just his eyes. They hid the turmoil of a man whose carefully maintained image was splintering. Yet behind the steel facade, something was shifting. For years, he had scoffed at the notion of settling down, publicly declaring that children disrupted his postcard-perfect lifestyle. His track record of whirlwind romances and globe-trotting gigs painted him as a lone wolf. But as Lauren's belly swelled, Simon's defenses began to crumble. He spoke of hearing his son's heartbeat with a reverence that surprised everyone who had ever encountered his trademark irreverence. What drives a man who once equated fatherhood with noise and chaos to redefine his entire narrative? The answer lies in the contrast between the Simon Cowell of 2006 and the Simon Cowell of today. Back then, his empire was built on scathing critiques and an unforgiving persona. Now, a softer side emerges as he strolls through morning scans and ultrasound appointments, his stern expression replaced by a newfound tenderness. Despite the scandal's fallout, his talk show ratings held steady, proving that audiences craved authenticity, not just acerbic wit. It turns out that even the toughest critics have chapters in their lives they'd rather keep hidden, until fate forces them into the spotlight. While Simon navigated this unexpected journey, Lauren moved from the periphery to the forefront. Once seen only as Andrew Silverman's wife, she became the architect of her own story. Maintaining an air of dignified composure, she granted scarce interviews that peeled back layers of the narrative tabloids had frantically assembled. You might ask what motivated her resilience amid a media-feeding frenzy. The answer is simple: a desire to reclaim her voice. Their son's arrival in February 2014 marked more than a family milestone. It signaled a rebirth for both parents. Simon's public posture shifted from cynical judge to reflective father, offering glimpses of pride and joy that contrasted sharply with his once dour image. Meanwhile, Lauren embraced motherhood under a microscope, turning invasive headlines into opportunities for honest dialogue about forgiveness, reinvention, and the complexities of modern love. Together, they demonstrated that real life seldom follows the neat narrative arcs viewers expect on TV. Yet, this story is far from over. As Simon fine-tunes his next television venture and Lauren contemplates new philanthropic projects, questions linger. How will their partnership evolve when their son begins school? Will Simon's empire of talent shows expand to include father-themed productions? And most importantly, what surprises await as they navigate parenthood side by side? Keep watching, because the next chapter promises revelations that could shift Hollywood's understanding of fame, family, and the unexpected ways love can change us all. It is also possible that the engagement served as a narrative pivot, a way to recast their public image not through a ceremony, but through a subtle, more mature declaration of intent. In many ways, that engagement was more than just a romantic milestone. It was a carefully chosen moment that allowed Cowell and Silverman to reclaim the story of their relationship. The man who once scoffed at lifelong commitment was now standing in the warm, shifting light of domestic devotion. The world watched, torn between skepticism and surprise, trying to reconcile the media titan who built his empire on critique with the father who now prioritized bedtime stories and school runs. The transformation was undeniable. The same Cowell who once juggled multiple shows across time zones now seemed more anchored in his role as a father and partner. And with that shift came a deepened fascination with his lifestyle. Simon Cowell's world has always been one of extravagance, but fatherhood added a new layer to it, one that combined luxury with a strange, almost tender normalcy. Known for his impeccably tailored shirts, aviator sunglasses, and signature smirk, Cowell's assets stretch far beyond the stage lights of talent shows. His portfolio is a tapestry of high-value real estate, investments, and elite-level spending habits. He owns multi-million-dollar homes in Beverly Hills, London, and Barbados, each more lavish than the next. The Beverly Hills estate alone, valued north of $25 million, features an indoor spa, a private cinema, and a pool area designed more like a five-star resort than a home. His London residence in Holland Park is rumored to be fitted with advanced security systems and custom interiors built to maximize privacy and comfort. A powerful financial lesson hides in plain sight. Diversify relentlessly, protect everything, and adapt quickly. Cowell never put all his chips on one show or trend. He expanded into music, television, publishing, and digital media. And while his personal life may have been unpredictable, his approach to wealth building was anything but. The evolution from bachelor empire builder to family man, didn't dampen his brand. It expanded it. He showed that even the most polarizing public figures could rewrite their own narratives without losing their edge. Still, curiosity swirls around his engagement like smoke from a slow-burning fire. Is it love, legacy, or leverage? A surprising hook came when a longtime industry executive admitted off the record that Cowell's softening persona may be his most calculated move yet, an image realignment that makes him more relatable as the television landscape pivots toward family-centered narratives. Could this be Simon adapting once again, positioning himself not just as a mogul, but as a modern-day patriarch of reality television? And what of Lauren Silverman? Once cast as the outsider, the socialite-turned-mystery woman has slowly but surely redefined her place in the spotlight. While she maintains a low public profile, insiders suggest she now plays a pivotal role in Cowell's business decisions, even influencing branding moves and sponsorships. Far from a passive presence, Lauren has become a quiet architect of the new Cowell image, a blend of luxury, loyalty, and late-in-life transformation. Another compelling twist lies in their family dynamic. Eric, now 10, has started to accompany his father to events, and many fans speculate whether Cowell is subtly grooming him for future media ventures. Could the next generation of Cowell already be in the wings? Or is this just the media mogul's final act, a pivot into legacy, not just ratings? As the cameras keep rolling and the red carpets unfurl, the Cowell-Silverman story continues to defy predictions. What began as scandal has slowly morphed into something more complex, more layered, and undeniably more human. The spotlight may never dim, but the narrative now dances between reinvention and resolve. What started as a tabloid earthquake in 2013 has now morphed into a decade-long story still packed with lingering smoke and unresolved glances. Simon Cowell and Lauren Silverman's relationship might appear calm on the surface, but behind the still waters lies a current of constant speculation. From the moment their relationship was exposed during Silverman's marriage to Andrew Silverman, the public has never looked away. But now, more than 10 years later, the headlines have taken on a different tone. Less scandalous, more curious, and deeply layered. That curiosity exploded again when Simon, the longtime marriage skeptic, did the unthinkable. He proposed. And just like that, the public's lens shifted. Was this redemption? Strategy? Or just another perfectly timed plot twist in Cowell's controlled public image? Whispers began to build momentum again after Cowell's serious spinal injury in 2020. The timing of the engagement that followed was too perfect for some to ignore. Was it truly a spontaneous gesture of love? Or was it a man at his most vulnerable making a decision under emotional pressure? This wasn't about gold digging or scheming. It was about a woman emotionally detached in her own marriage, quietly crumbling behind smiles. "My marriage was over before Simon," she revealed. "We were coexisting, not living." That's the kind of line that stops a story in its tracks, and it makes you question everything we thought we knew. Because what if what we saw as betrayal was actually survival? As she spoke, Lauren didn't seek to rewrite the past, but she demanded it be seen in full. The rumors that her pregnancy was a strategic move, she heard them. "I was made into a punchline," she said, "but nobody asked what it felt like to be torn apart publicly while holding something so personal." That one statement carried years of grief, and behind it was a woman who had endured more than her fair share of cruel speculation. Simon, for all his fame and fortune, never ran from her. Even while publicists begged him to walk away, he stayed. That unwavering presence spoke louder than any public denial ever could. In a rare moment of emotional clarity, Lauren said, "He saw me, not the scandal." And that saved me. That's the kind of line that redefines a relationship, not by removing its flaws, but by embracing its complicated truths. And here's where things get even more curious. While Cowell retreated from the spotlight just enough to allow space for normalcy, Silverman almost disappeared entirely. Strategic invisibility, some say. No brand deals, no tell-alls, no desperate grasp for celebrity. In a world where people chase fame from a single headline, her refusal to play that game was a powerful move of its own. And yet, critics still question her intentions. Was this low-profile, genuine humility, or a calculated way to keep public sympathy? But behind that speculation sits another truth, one that doesn't fit neatly in gossip columns. In the wake of Cowell's health scare, he proposed, the media spun it as a PR move, a way to soften his image or solidify control. But from Lauren's view, it was something far more vulnerable. He was scared, she said, and I think he just wanted to hold on to what felt real. It wasn't some fairy tale moment. It was messy, real, and deeply human. This confession came not to seek redemption, but to offer context. She didn't claim to be the victim or paint Andrew, her ex, as a villain. She acknowledged the pain caused and the chaos that followed. Yes, people got hurt, she admitted, but I didn't cheat my way into love. I found it in a storm I didn't ask for. That right there is the hook that changes everything. It's not about scandal. It's about longing, timing, and choices that don't always make sense to the outside world. And let's not forget Cowell in all of this. A man once known for brutal TV takedowns, now seen wheeling his son around in sun-soaked parks, smiling more than he critiques. Has the king of cynicism gone soft? Or has he just allowed life to soften the edges of a man who once hid behind sarcasm? His transformation from harsh TV mogul to a man quietly anchored by family speaks volumes. And it makes you wonder, was this love story his rebranding or his redemption? So here we are, years later, with a story that no longer screams in headlines, but hums in confessions. A woman once painted in caricature has reclaimed her voice. A man long feared in the industry has discovered vulnerability. And a relationship once dismissed as scandal now sits quietly as something that outlasted the noise. So what's your take? Was this calculated or courageous? Leave your thoughts below. Because this story, like most lives behind the limelight, is far from black and white.